3 days, 3 countries, 3 epic historical stories. Welcome to the History Bombs vlogs exploring the land of memory. Last time, Tom and I visited World War I forts in Verdun, France. Today we're in Belgium to explore 2 incredible forts from World War II. But first, Eddie from the Manhay 44 Museum offered us a ride we couldn't refuse. Unfortunately for Tom, there was only 1 passenger seat. Alright, here we go. So this is a Dodge WC52 from 1942 with an original engine hitting a top speed of 50 miles an hour. How are you feeling about that, Tom? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure that's absolutely perfect. So this would have been absolutely a core part of the US military, the infantry units when they arrived in France after D-Day. Well, this is a serious machine. It's slightly louder than modern cars. What? A little bit noisy. It's a bit, I can't hear you. Oh! So Tom is a passenger. Any feedback from back there?
I like it's quite airy.
It's airy.
It's good AC. Air conditioning is very fresh.
Yes.
Light. Short.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Eddie, that was fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
When Tom had recovered, we headed off to 2 forts near Liège. They were built in the 1930s as part of a series of defences on the likely path of German invasion. In May 1940, as German troops advanced through Belgium, they would have to knock out these fortifications, including the largest fort ever built, Fort Eben-Emael. Welcome to the roof of Fort Eben-Emael in Belgium. In 1940, this was considered the strongest fort in the world.
Oh, okay. Well, forgive me if I've been a bit sceptical there, Chris, because the other day you took me to Fort Aubin.
Yeah, Fort Aubin-Neufchâteau.
In World War I,
yeah,
everyone thought that was the strongest fort in the world, and it got taken like really quickly
4 or 5
by
days.
the Germans.
Yeah.
I mean, forgive me if I'm a little bit...
Well, it's a slightly different story here, but same kind of theme actually.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened?
So it's the 10th of May 1940, and the Germans had a cunning plan.
Okay.
To avoid detection, they landed 76 paratroopers in gliders across the roof of the fort itself.
Just further up the hill?
Yeah, and they had very special high explosives with them, a special type of hollow bomb, which caused immense damage to the roof of the fort. And they were basically able, with the help of infantry support, to take the fort within about 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's another, I mean, seems to me to be another lesson in don't use forts. So what's
in fairness,
the deal?
we've got to give the Germans some credit. They actually tested out this entire manoeuvre on a fort in Czechoslovakia.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
They made a test fort to practice this one.
This was so important to Hitler that he personally masterminded this attack. Yeah, and they actually did a very good job. They came in completely by surprise.
So is this marking the end of forts generally, or?
By World War II, we're seeing large fortifications like this become much less effective because we're seeing technology improve so much. High explosives, aircraft, tanks. The Germans even developed far stronger shells that could bust through bunkers called bunker buster bombs.
Crikey.
And I think we're going to see evidence of that quite soon actually at another fort.
Oh, okay, well if we're moving on, I want to go get a postcard. So
yeah, well you have a look inside.
Yeah, I'll go sort that out. I'll catch you in a bit. Yeah, take your time though, because I like to have a browse. Right, now, where's the gift shop? Signs. Hello? Hello? Why did I leave Chris? I'll never go anywhere without Chris. That's the rule, Tom, that's the rule. History of the Cold War, all over again. Hello? Hello?
Okay, well I'm not sure where Tom's got to. Haven't seen him for a few minutes, but I've made it to Fort Aubin-Neufchâteau, just a few kilometres away from Fort Eben-Emael. And I'm here with Fenton, who's going to tell us all about the battle that took place here between the 10th of May and the 21st of May. At Eben-Emael, we had the gliders coming in with the high explosives, What happened here? Was it a similar attack or a different situation?
I think this fortress is quite amazing, for me anyway, because they had no idea why Eben-Emael had fallen so quickly, and yet they fought tooth and nail for 11 days until they were literally out of ammunition. The Germans tried to take this. They were constantly attacking it, shelling it. There were 23 mass infantry assaults that were wiped out by this fortress.
Wow.
There was no chance of relief, but they carried on fighting. After the fortress was breached, they lost the cupolas. They were destroyed. The mortar block couldn't fire anymore, and the commander actually wanted to carry on fighting in the tunnels, but he was outvoted by the other officers.
What happened to the fort during the bulk of World War II?
Coming into late 42 into 43, the Germans were testing a new weapon, the forerunner of the bunker buster missile, called the Röchling shell. And they'd be fired from heavy-duty howitzers very, very high, and then they'd come down at incredible speed, punch through the earth and the soft rock, and explode in the open space in the barracks areas, 30 metres underground.
More evidence that forts were becoming less effective when you've got those sort of weapons firing.
I mean, if they'd had that weaponry in May 1940, it doesn't matter how much the commander and the troops here wanted to carry on fighting, the fort just wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. None of the forts would.
Well, that's been a fascinating overview. Let's go and have a look at some of the damage and maybe try and find Tom as well.
Well, maybe he's downstairs.
Maybe. Hope so.
So there we go, 160 steps, 30 metres down. We're coming to the entrance to the underground barracks area. So if we go down here and have a look, you've got to use your imagination because the metalwork's gone. But you'll be amazed, I guarantee it, by the damage.
All right.
This isn't the best example of the damage, but it's the first one as you come through.
So this damage was caused by a single shell.
A single shell.
And to get to this point, it's got through 30 metres of rock and reinforced concrete.
Yeah.
And it's broken through it.
The reinforced concrete is the ceiling of this room.
Yes.
And then above that is rock, and a big chunk of it sort of tried to come out through the hole. It's fallen through. But this is quite minor damage compared to what you're going to see very, very soon.
Okay. I hope you know your way back, Fenton.
No, I'm relying on you.
We should have discussed this.
What you have here is a shell that has come through 30 metres roughly of rock. It's punched through a reinforced concrete ceiling. It's gone through reinforced concrete floor into the hollow area, and it's in one piece. And if I lift this up, so you can have a better look at it.
Oh my God. It's going so fast, such power. It's forced its way all the way through the rock above, through reinforced concrete in the floor, but it just hasn't detonated.
And this was in 1943.
Yeah.
So technology now. Oof. You've had one come through the ceiling here, diagonally, and then smacked into the ground there. So you've got its nose imprint, and it's exploded, and you can see the shrapnel damage on the walls. But the wall's bowing out. This wall's been destroyed almost. I won't bother going further in because it's very treacherous underfoot. Yes. But it's perfectly round. You must imagine that's been drilled. And it's come through from there.
It's bleak, isn't it? Like the reinforced concrete hanging down here off twisted steel. Okay, we've just climbed the 160 steps out of Fort Aubin-Neufchâteau. The tunnel complex down there is unbelievable. It far exceeds my expectations of what we would find here, and also seeing the shell damage and the unbelievable power of those shells. Fenton, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for showing us around.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, if you're interested in visiting this fort or any of the attractions you've seen, go to the Land of Memory website and find out more about it. And you can come for a tour here with Fenton and other volunteers who run special tours. And for more history videos and teaching materials, go to historybombs.com. Right, I think that's about enough from me. But where is Tom? To plan your own trip to the historic sites featured in this video, go to the Land of Memory website. Explore fascinating historic sites across France, Belgium, Luxembourg and Germany. You can even browse pre-made routes and download Google Maps for your trips.
Oh, thank God.
You're right, Tom.
Chris, open the door.
Sorry.
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, you've only been 20
I got lost.
You all right?
To drink my own urine, Chris.
Drink your own urine?
I panicked.
Really? Get in. My goodness.
Just drive.
All right.
I don't want to talk about it.
Blimey. All right.
It's so dark in there. Couldn't even find the gift shop.